What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to the Frankie Candles live stream every single weekday right here at 5:45 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, right after ATB. Shout out to my boy DZ. Actually, I didn't see DZ today now that I think about it. Actually, no, I did. A little bit. But what is going on, everybody? We got another amazing show for you guys tonight. And, guys, we got a little bit of a bounce from a key level that we may or may not have been taking a look at. It's been the level we've been looking at forever, guys. We finally came down to that key level we've been looking at, and we are starting to get a little bit of a bounce from that level. And I want to talk about where price is headed from here. Are we going to see this turn into a sustained move to the upside, or are we going to wind up seeing this just turn back around and continue our downtrend back down to lower prices, potentially targeting that $28,000 level, and that's $28,000 even. But before we get into it, guys, let me pull up chat here. I don't even have chat open. Not going to lie, guys, I was a little bit late to the desk here, so bear with me. Sound is back. Shout out to Mark Dutch. Shout out to you, man. Hey, we got Lane Hughes in the chat. What is going on, Lane Hughes? Good to see you, brother. Thank you for tuning in. Appreciate you for being here, man. We missed you, and we're always happy to see you. But guys, like I said, we got an amazing, bear with me, guys. Give me 1 second here. We got an amazing show for you guys tonight. Like I said, we're going to be taking a look at the key levels to the upside we need to be watching in case we are going to get a heavy rejection here on Bitcoin. And then I want to just give you guys my basic sentiment, which you guys will be very familiar with. But we're going to be covering all of that on tonight's show. So thank you all for tuning in. I appreciate every single one of you guys. Before we jump into it, let's go ahead and check in on chat. And don't forget to smash that like button, guys. Every 100 likes we get, you get a spin on the wheel of pain or pleasure, where you have basically infinite chances to win giveaways. You guys know how it goes out here. We're going to be spinning that wheel, so smash that like button. And let's go ahead and say what is going on to the CandleMafia before we jump on into the charts. Let's see. Who do we got in here? Shout out to Mark Dutch. We just shouted him out. Shout out to you, bro. Thank you for being here. We got Jonah Plainclothes in the house, dropping those candle emojis. Shout out to you, brother. We got Crypto Billy in the house. Laviu, what is going on? Thank you for tuning in. Says, to the POC, how's the money flow? Shout out to Laviu. We're going to be taking a look at that in just a second. We got Crypto Cowboy in the chat. Crypto Fever tuning in. What is going on? We got Sir Quest. Paul Wood, as always, happy to see you here, Paul Wood. Jonathan Newton, what is going on? We got Crypto Billy, Rob the Crypto Snob, Captain Kirk, D Petty Crypto, Crypto Anon, Chemistry Bro, Tony D. You guys know the mods. Go ahead and show them some love in chat, guys. They help us out endlessly with this channel. And shout out to Daddy Zach said, yo, Lane Hughes, what's up, homie? Shout out to Lane Hughes. If you don't know who Lane Hughes is, come on. We all know Lane Hughes. He's an absolute OG of the channel. We haven't seen him in a bit, but hey, everybody's got to take a break from the charts from time to time, so super happy to see you in here, Lane. Shout out to you, and thank you for tuning into the show. We got Curtis Neal in the chat. Dave Digital, as always, what is going on, bro? Crypto Anon shouting out Donato Cabrera. As you guys know, Donato Cabrera, shout out to Donato Cabrera. Let's see. We got Greg Gonzalez in the house. Tyler Durden tuning in saying, hello, friends. That's without the D. Lane Hughes says, love you guys and miss you all. Shout out to Lane Hughes. Welcome back, brother. So happy to see you. We got Lucho out here trying to steal. Hey, Lucho, it's not even Friday, bro. Just so you know, Lucho, I don't know if you tuned in on the last giveaway, but now every time we do a giveaway, people are talking about you. They're like, I'm going to pull a Lucho tonight. So you really started something, Lucho. So shout out to you, bro. And shout out to Rob the Crypto Snob for starting his new job. Shout out to you, Rob. Paper Planes in the house says, bing to my bong. Shout out to Paper Planes. Shout out to you, man. Thank you for being here. Creighton C, as always, French Toaster, Brian Vardy, Satoshi Nakamoto in the house, and Metabice, last but not least. But guys, shout out to Bao, says Hex is bullish. Let's go. We'll have to take a look at Hex once again. We looked at it yesterday. We will look at it again. The Godfather said Frankie's Cavs are the best. Some people would say that. And I'm not gonna argue with it. And last but not least, shout out to oh my God, chat is flying right now. Shout out to Jason Mack, said smashing them like buttons, guys. So don't forget to smash that like button. And let's go ahead and jump right into the charts here, guys, because we do have a whole lot to look at. So let me go ahead and pull up the correct chart here, and let's go ahead and without further ado, let's go ahead and jump on into the charts. Here we go. So guys, here we are on the Bytecoins. Let's go ahead and break this down, guys. As always, I'm going to go ahead and start this off without RTA on the charts. Let's see. Specials like, let's go. Shout out to Green Day Profits. Yeah, let's go. ATB crew. I never said. Let me see if you tuned in from ATB. ATB crew, show yourselves in the chat right now. Darren Does Things says, big up to all the mods and fake mods. As you guys know, Dave Digital is the most official, official mod that we've ever had on the channel. So shout out to Dave Digital. 2K saying pull your fib. Let's go. All right, so let's... Oh, hey, shout out to Underground Only says, thank you for my Cardano, Frankie. No problem, bro. You deserve it. And congrats on that win. Thought I was going to sneeze. All right, guys, let's go ahead and jump right into the charts here. We're going to go ahead and start on the weekly, as nothing has really changed on the weekly. But obviously, guys, part of the reason that we were... Paul Wood, shout out, says, where's our ETH winner? That is Matt 066. He was in chat the other day. We did, I don't know if we sent it to him yet. I think we might have. But yeah, he did claim his 1 ETH. I know a lot of people are kind of bummed out that he claimed it, because if he didn't claim it, there was going to be a second chance for everybody else to win the full ETH. But he did indeed, he did indeed claim that prize. Let's see. Shout out to Bow SNW said, you told us red dot on the weekly, short it. BTC dropped. Good job. Shout out to SNW. I appreciate you, bro. And yeah, this is that's what we were looking at, and we're going to talk about it right now. So taking a look at that red dot that SNW is talking about is right here on the weekly time frame. Now, not only, let's go ahead and pull up BTC. Not only, guys, did we wind up getting that red dot on the weekly, but we also did wind up getting, let me hide this, let me just hide all these drawings really quick. We also wound up, let me hide this and this. We also wound up getting that bearish divergence, guys, right? So we were looking for that move to the downside, forever. We were looking for this move to the downside forever, guys. And like I said the other day, like right as we broke down out of this sideways range that we were trading in for about a month or so, we were praying for that breakdown just simply to break the range, but also that's what we were expecting. I thought we were going to be super wrong, to be honest, but we had to stick with what was going on the charts, and I want you guys to kind of learn a lesson there. Now, as we were saying, and if you guys watch the streams back here when we were going sideways, you will know, we were talking about how the mixed signals were out there. It was very hard to read, but the one thing that was clear was the money flow on Market Cypher B coming to the downside, indicating that we would get a breakdown below that range before another move up. And this might sound really familiar if you've been watching the shows recently, but the reason I bring it up again is because there's going to be many, many times in the market where you think that you're going to be wrong. And a lot of times you will just kind of flip on your own TA and go against what the TA is telling you because you feel that it might go the opposite way. But what did? We stuck to our TA, and we wound up getting that break to the downside. And on top of that, we've been talking about, how low we would potentially see the price come before actually turning bearish in the long term. And as you guys know, kind of that line in the sand for me is going to be these lows down here at about 25.8. And, obviously your wicks down here at about 24,750. But once we decisively break these lows, that's kind of where I start to flip a little bit more bearish in the long term. But there is plenty of room to come down here and still put in a higher low and continue to the upside. So with that being said, the weekly bearish divergence was one of those things that was, again, adding to that sentiment that we would get this breakdown before another leg up. And here you can see it, excuse me, with our higher highs on our price action, lower highs on our momentum waves, giving us that open alligator mouth that leads to that alligator puking out those purple candles, right? I always tell people to think of these bearish divergences kind of like this is your alligator top jaw with the teeth, right? And then you have your alligator bottom jaw with the teeth. Right? The bearish divergences, the lines move away from each other. The bullish divergences, you kind of make that pinch point where the lines will eventually intersect. It's basically the inverse of what we're looking at here for anybody new. But then typically when these bearish divergences form, you will puke out those purple candles. That's kind of what I mean by puking out purple candles. But, as we take a look here, that was one of the main things, or one of the big things we were looking at to anticipate a little bit further of a move down. And we did indeed get it. Money flow starting to come out just a little bit here on the weekly, but nothing really that alarming, in my opinion. Until, not really, getting alarmed here until we do cross back over into the red. But we talked about this yesterday, guys. if we do cross into the red with the weekly money flow, although this money flow crossover into the green is a mega bullish sign, I will say this. If we cross into the red, I will not be immediately flipping bearish in the long term. Really what I'm going to do is if this crosses over into the red, I will be looking at our key levels, which obviously we do have one down here near these lows, and I will be watching this level like a hawk because this is really going to be the indication that I do think the downtrend can continue. So if we wind up getting a below that level, that is kind of where I would be expecting a bigger move to the downside. And we'll take a look closer at that actual level in just a second. So weekly, nothing has really changed. Bear div confirmed. Again, just one of those things that was making us anticipate this move down. Coming down to the 5-day. Sorry, guys. I got something stuck in my throat. God. But moving on down to your 5-day, VWAP is kind of just cruising out here. Money flow almost perfectly flat. Nothing to really take away from here other than the bearish divergence, which is obviously forming on the 5-day as well as the weekly. Coming on down to the 3-day, money flow crossing over into the red. This is another thing. Now, not only was this helping us anticipate a move shout out to Justin. Says, is that an RSI divergence on the weekly? We could take a look at the RSI and check that for you for sure. Yes, it is indeed a weekly, an RSI divergence as well. You can see your lower highs right there. Just similar, very similar to your momentum waves on Market Cipher. So yes, short answer, yes. But coming back over to, looking at the 3-day here, money flow crossing over into the red. Not only was this helping us anticipate this move down, but it is also letting us know that if we are going to get any moves to the upside like we are seeing or we have seen today with a little bit of a bounce to the upside, I will be anticipating these to be a lackluster move to the upside before putting in a lower high and continuing to lower prices. And this is based off the money flow crossing over into the red on the 3-day, the 2-day, and the daily. Now, if you take a look here, guys, this was a couple, probably a week, maybe 2 weeks ago, we were kind of looking at this price action as we were ranging around up here, and we were comparing it to this area of price action right here. And the reason we were doing this was because it was a very, very similar time in the market, right? We had a big move up, followed by some sideways consolidation. This one ended in a short squeeze back to the upside. And although we came up here and started ranging around, in somewhat of a bullish pennant, right? A lot of people were calling this a bull flag or a bull pennant, and a lot of people were expecting this to break to the upside. And rightfully so, right? Like, it's not like they were doing anything wrong because we were looking at the same exact thing, anticipating a potential break to the upside. But looking at money flow, it was very conflicting, right? Because the money flow was calling for lower prices, and really the only thing that was pointing to a move up was the pattern of that bull pennant, right? And we know it's not the actual shape of the price action that moves price, right? So I wound up putting my faith in the money flow, and it did wind up playing out. However, this was just kind of part of the reason why we were comparing these as similar times in the market. And we even looked for a short squeeze building within this range, and we just couldn't find it, right? So we never really got that break up. We got a little pump on the XRP news, but really nothing crazy. We just came up to the top of the range and then rejected right back down. So the reason I bring this up right now, guys, is because if you look at this period of time right here where we had this downtrend, right? This was one of the same exact times, and you'll kind of see how this lines up, guys. And obviously, guys, this was, I believe, when we were in Bitcoin Miami, somewhere in this range. And obviously, guys, I was long from down here. We got the ride up. I actually believe I was long from up here. I believe I took profits and accidentally closed my whole position, got into another long here, and then rode that second long up to the high. However, the reason I bring this up, guys, is because we are kind of in a similar scenario with money flow specifically, right? At this time, we were obviously in a long, right? And then we spotted that short squeeze right here, caught a long from here as well. So I guess it was maybe 3 positions. I think this long and this long were just completely separate trades. So yeah, but anyway, taking a look here, this is kind of what, as soon as we came down here, we had a money flow crossover into the red. Now, at this point, this is where we start to say, hey, Money flows crossing over into the red on the daily. This could indicate a longer-term downtrend incoming, right? Because when money flow indicates the longer-term trend, right? The VWAP indicates the ebbs and flows of the market. This is how I interpret market cipher. VWAP crosses up, you get a move up. VWAP crosses down, you get a move down. VWAP crosses up, you get a move up. VWAP crosses down, you get a move down, right? So the VWAP indicates the noise in the market. The money flow indicates the trend. And I'm going to use this as an example because it's much clearer. Money flow crosses into the green, massive trend to the upside, right? And I guess you could, argue that that was the top of that trend, right? Or just based off money flow. Money flow crosses into the green, big move to the upside. However, you actually didn't have many VWAP crossovers here, but you could see when you got this move to the downside, that was a crossover on the VWAP, right? VWAP crosses back over, you get another move up, right? And then you get a VWAP crossover to the downside here, you get a move down, right? But money flow came into the green and indicated that the trend longer term would likely, even if there's bing-bonging around, likely going to continue to the upside, right? So that is kind of the approach that we took right here. Once we had that money flow crossover into the red right here, the first money flow crossover into the red, we were saying, hey, this might be the end of the trend locally. We might get a move to the downside, right? We got that move down, and then when we came up to make this lower high, this was kind of a little bit choppy because we faked that out into the green, back into the red, back into the green, but right here, we had that money flow crossover, and we were anticipating this being a fake out. I don't want to talk too much about how you could figure out if it's a fake out. I'll go into that another day. But we were anticipating this to be a bigger red wave, right? And the reason for that was one of the reasons for that was the amount of time that we spent on this massive green wave. It was just looking like it was probably time to start spending some time in the red. So once we crossed into the red right here, we were anticipating that the trend may start the price action might start a downtrend in the long term, which obviously we wound up doing, right? And this is why we were favoring shorting these lower highs. Every time we got a pump, instead of thinking, oh my God, 100K, and then getting wrecked, we knew because of money flow that any pump to the upside would likely get faded back to the downside to put in a lower low, right? And then you get another bounce here, bing. But we were looking to short this high as well because look at this, money flow in the red, right? So we shorted that as well. Even here, you could argue was a lower high, and you shorted it back down. And the reason for that was the money flow crossing over into the red. First warning shot was back here, and then we faked into the green. But again, we were anticipating that red wave to be big. So we're kind of in a similar situation here, guys, where, as you know, I am bullish in the long term, thinking at this point that the macro trend can continue up at some point. However, more locally, right, to separate the local and the macro, I am assuming this trend will continue to the upside, right? Higher lows, higher highs. This is technically, this is technically a higher high, although not much of a higher high. However, you still have an uptrend here, right? So I do think this could potentially continue until we wind up breaking these levels down here at about 25K. And at that point, money flow is probably in the red on the weekly anyway, but this is what I'm talking about when I'm referencing the macro trend, and then this would be kind of an internal trend, right? Internal trend, right? So macro, I do think I do think price could continue to the upside. However, locally, when we zoom into the more local price action, money flow on the daily is back in the red here, guys, and we are printing a red dot, a fresh red dot here. So with that being said, it could be plausible to think that, we peaked out here and we are now likely starting a downtrend, right? So you have a low, a lower high, lower low. If we do get a pump to the upside, I will treat it the same as the pumps that we got here, here, and even here, right? As in lackluster bounces to come in, put in a lower high, and put in a lower low. Bounce up, make a lower high, put in a lower low, right? Starting that downtrend. So we could potentially anticipate the same thing based off the same signal, which is not only the daily money flow crossover into the red, but also the 2-day money flow crossover into the red. And not just that, also the 3-day money flow crossover into the red. What happened last time the 3-day money flow crossed over into the red? Well, This is a little bit of a bad example because this was literally the beginning of the bear market. But the last money flow crossover into the red we got on the 3-day, guys, gave us a massive move down, right? A massive move down to the bear market, right? And then we didn't get a crossover into the green until we bottomed out and started this massive uptrend, right? So this is the kind of trends that you can expect from a 3-day money flow crossover. So it is for that reason that locally I have to favor shorting the lower highs, right? And if we do get a bounce, and we'll talk about where I think we can bounce to if we do continue, where I am looking to put in those lower highs and then continue to the downside. And you guys will probably be familiar with the levels because those haven't changed because we haven't hit them yet. So that's the general sentiment, guys. And then we're going to talk a little bit more low time frame, more local price action, where I think we can go, more short term. But in general, any move we get to the upside, I am going to be looking at specific levels to put in those lower highs and continue down based off the money flow. So that is my general sentiment on the market right now. But coming on down to the 4-hour, I want to take a look at this with you guys because we have gotten a bounce off of a very, very interesting level. So I'm going to come on over to our actual chart that we've been looking at for quite some time. We'll come on down to the 2-hour, actually. Zoom out a bit. Actually, we'll come up to the 4-hour. And let's go ahead and take a look at these levels. Now, as you guys know, this is not the chart. This is the chart, right? This is the almost exact, we are holding above the exact level we've been looking at. Now, we did wick below just slightly, but over the past, let's see, like since we've been up in this range, since Monday, I think was the last day we were in here before we broke down, we were looking, if we were going to get a move down here, the two key levels we were looking to get a bounce from it was this blue box, right? This blue box should look familiar. We looked at it a lot. This blue box between about 28,833 and 28,659. These were our two levels that we were looking to hold. And what were we doing down here in this blue box? That's right. We were looking for long positions. And right here, right in this blue box, this is where we were looking for those longs, looking for some very specific confirmations. One of the basic things we were looking at that we talked about on the live stream was lower lows on our price action. Lower lows on our price action with higher lows on our momentum waves, looking for a potential 4-hour bullish divergence, which, to be quite honest with you, is not the strongest angle, right? So this is actually not I would almost consider this an exaggerated bear div, which could, sometimes the exaggerated bear divs are a little bit, the exaggerated bear divs are a little bit confusing, right? Or bull divs, right? In this case, it's bull div. Sometimes they can be false signals. Sometimes they just play out normally, and sometimes they don't play out as I shouldn't use the word exaggerated because it's very confusing. Sometimes they don't play out as extreme as you would think, right? So if anything, it's a little bit weaker of a signal, but sometimes they do play out. So I take them. If I see them, I will take trades based off of them. But this is technically a bull div just because it is an angle technically. It's just not the strongest angle, but we did get that confirmation amongst other things we were looking at in the premium Discord to actually get into that trade. And obviously, we did slip this previous value area low slightly, but that's obviously to be expected. You're never going to get, once in a while, you'll get a level tap to the dollar, but support and resistance is very, very rarely a straight line, guys. It's usually a range. If you draw all your support and resistance as lines and not zones, the second you slip below that line, you're going to be like, oh my God, I'm breaking that level. We're going to dump. Where it's, in my opinion, in my experience, it's much better to look at a range of support and resistance to find your setup within. So you can see we did slip that bottom value area low just slightly, but we closed right on top of this this first value area low that we were looking at about 28,830, 820, give or take a couple of dollars. And this is exactly why we draw things as a range, right? Because you think you're slipping here, and then you finally slip. But look at all these body candles closed perfectly on that level, guys. And that is where we wound up getting the move up from. So perfect bounce off the top of that blue box. And just beautiful play here. Let me see. Do I have my Femex account? Yeah. I'll pull that up in a second. However, we are coming up to some pretty interesting levels. So we got the bounce we were looking for. We got the technical bull div on the 4-hour amongst other confirmations. You can see we also did kind of get an exaggerated bull div, or, you know, if you pull it from all the way back here, you did get the bullish divergence on the 2-hour. And then even locally, you wound up getting some bullish confirmations. Actually, this is not a div, but if you draw it again, if you pull it all the way from back here, you do have those bull divs on your lower time frames. And that green dot on the 4-hour was really that thing we needed to get that pop to the upside. I think I talked about that on the BitBoy Crypto Morning Show. I said if we do get a move up, I would be looking at that 4-hour green dot, and then bang, we got that move up. So what I'm going to do here, guys, is I'm going to extend this volume profile up just a little bit, or to the right just a little bit, just to update these levels. So we are now, as of right now, so this brings us to the current price action. We went over the higher time frames, kind of my major sentiment on the longer term time frames. Now we covered how we got here, and now let's talk about where we are likely to go from here. Let's see. Dynex has been great lately as well. Shout out to DJ Mines. We'll have to check out Dynex. We looked at that the other day upon request. Shout out to Crypto Tweak, says, Frankie, he's our man. If he can't do it, he gave you the knowledge so you can. Shout out to Crypto Tweak. But yeah. Ooh, big letters. But yeah, we'll take a look at all this stuff in a minute. But hey, Hannah King in the chat. What is going on, Hannah? Thank you for tuning in. We appreciate you. Thoughts on Algo looking bad? Yeah, Lane, we will take a look at Algo during the altcoins for sure. We should check it out. Algo's just been getting hammered lately. I mean, for a while now. It just can't catch a break. But here we are, right? We got the pump up. We broke our value area low, and if you watch the BitBoy Crypto Morning Show, you will know these were some levels that we were expecting resistance on, specifically that value area low and that value area high of the range. And yeah, looking forward. Now we are living right back inside of our local range that we were in, recently, obviously. So now that let's go down to a lower time frame so we can see a little better of what we got going on, right? I'm actually going to come down to something like the 3-minute zoom out. Let's spawn our levels here. And come on, there we go. And yeah, we got right up on that value area low, guys. We flipped it to support and then got that move right up to the POC. Look at the respect on these levels, guys. Shout out to Creighton C. What happens? Get ready. When you get a move above that value area low and you flip it to support, Creighton C, where do you go next? There you go. Shout out to Hodl Crypto, says POC. Chris says POC. Let's go. Let's go. Yo, shout out to Dave Digital. I can't read that. Yo, somebody, Dave, call the police on yourself. Somebody call the cops on Dave. Somebody call the cops on Dave. Stop it. You keep making me laugh, bro. You're funny, man. You're funny. But anyway, we'll take a look at FTM as well in a minute here. There we go. You get on top of that POC, hold it as support, guys. The next likely place for price to go is that point of control, which we tapped not once, not twice, but 3 times. And it is somewhat potential that we will eventually be able to crack this POC. And then if we do, we are looking to come up to the value area high at about $29,427. So that once we get above this POC, our next key level of resistance locally is going to be that 29,427 level. And in the more medium term, not as hyper locally, if we can get out of that range, guys, I will be looking for a potential move back up to test our macro value area low, which is coming in right here at about $29,750. So holding my long, guys. I'm going to be holding my long, taking profit along the way. If we can get up to this value area high, I will definitely be taking some profit off the table. And if we wind up getting on top of that value area high, I will look for a move into this purple box where we not only have our macro value area low, but we also have our local value area low from this range, as well as a golden pocket, right? I'll just pull the fresh golden pocket right now. From this impulse down all the way, well, actually, I guess it moved because we got that extra dump. But we do have this golden pocket, which would be worth watching as well. Actually, if we pull it up to this second wick. So I'm going to go ahead and actually drag this down just a bit. And if we get a move up there, guys, I will be looking for a potential short opportunity if the setup presents itself. If not, I will sit on my hands and continue to make money on the long. But that's kind of the next level, right? The next level I would expect extreme or somewhat decent resistance at will be is going to be right here between $29,700 and $29,900. So there you go. Again, not really much has changed here, right? You have pretty good confluence between your golden pocket and your value area lows. But other than, and then you have your POC up here of this micro range that also falls within that range. So pretty strong level of resistance up here, in my opinion. But we got to make it up there first, right? No guarantees we get up here, but if we do, this would be a decent place to put in a lower high and continue back down. And if we break that level, I will simply be looking up towards the actual POC of the macro range, which is getting a little bit closer to about 30,300. So let me go ahead and pull this fib. I don't remember exactly. Boom, pull it to this impulse to the downside. And we do have a golden pocket within that area as well. So I'm actually going to adjust this level slightly. And that's going to be the next short area, right? Or kind of the area where I would be looking for resistance, right? Not necessarily always looking for a short. But, again, if we get a bigger move up here, get on top of the value area high, we have to crack that 29,427 level to go higher. If we do get that, going to be looking for a potential rejection here because that would be a great place to put in a lower high. And actually, I would probably favor coming up a little higher to test that macro POC and then getting a rejection there. But there's no telling which one is going to happen or if any of them are going to happen. But that is what I am looking at if this move up continues. Now, if the move up does not continue, if the move up just halts, ceases to exist, goes away, disappears, or dies. I don't know why I had to say that many different ways of saying that something stopped. But anyway, if we get a move down from here, guys, level of support that I will be looking at does remain the same. I'm going to pull up that Bybit chart really quickly just to show you guys a little bit of a cleaner chart. And it is sitting right here. Our next key level is going to be the golden pocket retracement / point of control of our macro range, right? Kind of the major, I don't want everyone getting super confused on all these ranges. I am looking at this as a range. I am looking at this as a range. And I am looking at this as a range, right? So two micro ranges and a major range on the current price action. And then I am also looking at this super macro range of all the price action all the way back to Friday, the 17th of March. And let me go ahead and get rid of some of these levels, guys. If we get another move down, right? Again, what did we talk about yesterday? Let me hide some of this stuff, right? Let me hide this. Let me hide this. And let me hide all of this. And that's it, right? So what would we be looking for here? Let me turn this on to... Actually, we'll leave this. Looking at this as a huge macro range, guys, simply looking at the volume profiles. We talked about this the other day or yesterday. You get above that value area low, you flip it to support, you're expecting price to come to your POC, and then eventually your value area high. We deviated from the value area high. When you deviate from your value area high of your range, you are potentially expecting price to get sucked back into your range, right? Because once you get above that value area high, you are thinking that price is a little bit overbought. You could think of it as being overbought. And you are expecting price to come back into an area of balance. In this case, it is this macro range. So we deviated from the high, expecting to potentially get sucked back in. Once you break that value area high and you cannot get back above it, we got a drop back into our range. And we are potentially on our way to come visit that point of control, which is coming in at $28,020 or $28,040, right? And then you also have your your golden pocket retracement level in that area as well. And we've been looking at this level, guys. We have a lot of confluence on this level, right? And the reason for that is, or kind of I'll show you guys the actual confluence that we have. It's not only a golden pocket / POC that comes in pretty close confluence, but if we draw our macro trend line, right? A lot of people are looking at this trend line, depending on where you pull it from, or if it's from the wicks to the bodies. Let's go to the weekly. So there you go, right? Your trend line does wind up coming pretty close to that level, right? Very steep trend line, in my opinion. But, that trend line does come right in at that level, guys. And on top of that, what was the other thing, though? We had something else there. But, yeah, you got the trend line, you got the golden pocket, you got the POC, and your 786 does live a little bit below that at about $27,389. But this would be a very confluent area to get a bounce off of, and we just barely front-ran that POC golden pocket. But I do think, right, just looking at your price action on, without all the intermediary levels, just kind of looking at the macro range here and looking at things in a simple way, I mean, we simply got below the value area low. We are now accepted back into the value area. The next likely place for price to go is the POC. Now, it doesn't guarantee that we will 100% guaranteed get down to that level. However, more often than not, you do come to that POC, and we see it happen time and time and time and time and time again, right? We show it on the channel every day, or at least every time it happens. So it's never 100%. I never want to push this stuff as it happens 100% of the time, but it is very, very reliable. If you watch the show, you'll know this, and if you've been using the volume profile yourself, honestly, regardless of where you're looking at these volume profiles, they are likely getting respected like they do on this. Maybe a spider line through that spot. Apple's up north. I think that might be what we were looking at. I don't have spider lines on this chart, but there might also be a spider line coming through that level as well. But even without that, the golden pocket, POC, and trend line, that's like a trifecta of confluence there, which could make for a great place to get a strong bounce off of. And again, we did get very close, and no guarantees we get down there. But again, you lose that value area high, you are expecting to eventually get to that POC. That doesn't mean we're guaranteed to get down there tonight or tomorrow. We could easily see a pump all the way back up to test the value area high again and then come down and test that level. But again, when you're just looking at things in simple terms of the ranges, you're expecting to lose the value area high and then come to the POC. If you lose the POC, you're potentially looking to get a move all the way down to your value area low, which obviously I would also watch the 786, which we just brought up at $27,389. But once you decisively lose that point of control, you're kind of expecting, right, due to the based off of the laws of the volume profile, you are expecting to eventually, even if you get a bounce off that 786, you're expecting to eventually get down to that value area low, getting closer to that $26,300 level. Now, if we get down to that level, let's say we lose the POC and we come right down, we do wind up coming down to revisit that value area low. This is that last line of defense, guys. This is kind of where I'm thinking if we do not get a big bounce out of here and we don't start getting things moving very quickly, I would be expecting a potential breakdown, a bigger breakdown for Bitcoin once we start losing this value area low. Because once we lose that value area low, let's pull this range again and take a look at this. So let me unextend this. There we go. Once we lose that level, guys, we are coming down to an old range with your value area high, right? And that range is obviously right here. Hopefully, guys, my head's not blocking this. Value area high coming in at 24.8. And once we wind up getting below this value area low and we decisively get below there, we are at risk of potentially getting accepted back into this value area, which could potentially give you a much bigger breakdown, working you down to the 22,000s, which, again, I'm not calling for this or saying this is going to happen. I'm just saying if this, then that, right? Like if we get a breakdown of this value area low, we could potentially look to revisit this range that we were in, again, getting down closer to $22,000. But we're pretty far away from that, so let's not even entertain that as an idea until it winds up being more realistic. But that's kind of what we're looking at, guys. Other than that, the macro levels have not changed, but we did get that bounce right off of our right off of our level of support here. These candle body closes it just had me dying. I was like, let's go. I mean, I guess it's on some of the lower time frames. I guess the 4 hours, what I was looking at, just holding those 4-hour bodies right over that level. And then boom, where did we go? We went straight from the value area low right to the POC as expected, right? Just once again, like this is, not actually, let me see something here. If we pull our fib, we may be hitting a local golden pocket right now, or 786. There it is, getting a little bit of a rejection off of that 786. Hopefully, we could get over that. We got to get over that 786 to come attack that value area high, and then we got to tackle that value area high to get up to our next area of major resistance. So that's what I'm looking at on Bitcoin, guys. I am in this trade. I'll pull it up right now. This is on Femex. Shout out to Femex. But yeah, we are up 5%. Nothing crazy. It is a $31,000 position. I got about almost $6,300 in margin. And it is on 5X, right? Never really go that crazy with the leverage. But there we go, right? Nice little move to the upside. Actually, I'm not really that pleased with the entry, to be honest with you. But, you can't always snipe the very, very bottom of every single trade you take. But nonetheless, we are massively in profit, or not massively, but we are decently in profit here. Just wish I could have gotten a little bit of a better entry here. But, life happens. So, but there you go. If you guys want to sign up to trade on Femex, shout out to Femex. You guys can check the link in the description down below. And I actually do believe, let me see if Tony D, if you're in here, bro. I don't know if you sent me that stuff. Femex is doing a massive Ethereum giveaway, giving away Ethereum to people who I don't want to butcher the details. I want to bring it up and show you guys. I think Tony D may have sent me something, but if you could just confirm that, Tony, I'd appreciate you. But yeah, they're giving away a bunch of ETH. For people who, I'm not even going to butcher it. I think they are, yeah, I'll just wait for Tony to answer because I don't want to butcher it. But yeah, you guys can check out that link in the chat if you guys want to sign up and use Femex. And if you do that, you will obviously be helping support the channel and keep this free education coming every single day. However, not only would you get any bonus funds that Femex may be offering or any bonus deals that Femex may be offering at the time, but you will also get access to our dining room, which is our free premium. It's like our freemium version of the Discord, where we did put in the short entry right here before the move down. So definitely a saucy channel to be in, and it's completely free if you are signed up with one of our links. And then you could go to the free Discord, click on the dining room, gain access. Once you click that, it'll tell you how to get in. It's super easy. You just put in your user ID, and then you will get access. It takes a few days to get access, but you will get in there. Shout out to Rob the Crypto Snod said, Drew said, I know a lot of people told you, but I know a lot of people told you that speech on never giving up was pretty inspirational, man. Happy for your success. Was one of the first members of the premium Discord. Well, shout out to Drew. Shout out to Drew. I appreciate you, bro. Thank you for saying that. And he says, you don't have to spam the compliment, but I do appreciate you, man. Well, Drew, he spammed it, and I saw it, and I'm thanking you, bro. I really do appreciate that. And that is the truth, my friend. That is the truth. Shout out to Drew from Hit Network. But yeah, shout out to you, man. That means a lot. I didn't mean for that to happen. I didn't mean to I wasn't like, all right, I'm going to get super inspirational on this stream. But it just wound up happening. And a lot of people hit me up and told me that it helped them a lot. So, hey, let's go. Shout out to the CandleMafia. Happy to help you guys in any way possible. But it's true. I mean, when you go through something, sometimes you got to go through the dark stuff, and then you are able to help other people. But shout out to you, Drew. I appreciate you so much, man. Lane Hughes said, someone link me the speech. Shout out to Lane Hughes. Let's go. It was on the live stream lane that says 1 ETH giveaway. I don't know the timestamp, but it's on that live stream if you want to try to scrub and find it. But there you go. Shout out to you guys. I really appreciate you. I appreciate you guys getting something out of my live streams. That's awesome. That's why I do it. Okay, so, oh no, Jim Cramer is asking me to come over. Jim, I'm not coming over, man. You're the stock guy. Stay in stocks, dude. Stop bringing up Cardanzo and Solano. Just do your thing with the stocks. Let me handle the crypto. And shout out to Jim Cramer. He just wants to hang out with me. He's been trying to make a play date for quite some time. Shout out to Dave Digital said, is the speech you had me... Shout out to Dave Digital said, is that the speech you'd had me send over from ChatGPT? Yes. Yes, Dave Digital. That is the one. Shout out to Dave. Thank you for the super chat, bro. But with all that being us, oh no, Darren says the speech was too long, couldn't clip it. Dang it. But yeah, guys, let's see. Caught the wick for the long. Thanks, Frankie. Shout out to D&B Smurf. That's what I like to hear, bro. Let's go. Falco said, I appreciate you appreciating me, appreciating you. Well, Falco, you might have started a war here, bro. I appreciate you appreciating me, appreciating you, appreciating me, appreciating you, appreciating me. I don't know if I did that right, but shout out to Falco. Thank you for the super chat, bro. Let's see. Let's see. Crespo Crypto said, I like Femex, but why don't they have Femex charts on TradingView? They got one right here, my man. Shout out to Crespo. They do. If you go, let's see, type in BTC. You could go to all sources, and then you can filter by exchange. I guess, yeah, I mean, I guess they don't have that many. Oh, that's all BTC. That's why. So there you go. There's all the Femex charts. Okay, wow, they got a lot. Well, there you go, Crespo Crypto. Hopefully that helped you out, bro. Yeah, just go type in a ticker, and then hit all sources, click Femex, and then you'll get all the charts. There you go. Let's go. I love that filter. Someone showed me that filter recently. It used to look different, because I was like, I used to be able to do it, and then I was like, why can't you do this? And then someone was like, you can. They just changed it. But there you go. That's what we're looking at on Bitcoin, guys. I think it's, hey, Chemistry Bro said hashtag value. Let's go. Rob said appreciation. Appreciation rainbow. Shout out to Rob the Crypto Snob. But let's see. Forget the time here. Come over to Jim's sack lunch. Get Jim Cramer out of here. Lock him up. Call the police. Call the SWAT team. Somebody stop this guy. Shout out to Jim. I almost called him James naturally. Shout out to Jim Cramer. Or James. I like to call him James Cramer. But guys, let's go ahead and all right, let's go ahead and by the way, Jim, whoever's behind Jim Cramer, we love you. I'm just messing around with you. But anyway, with that being said, guys, I think it's about time to start taking a look at the altcoins. About 50 minutes into the stream. Let's go ahead and pop in on the alts and see what we got going on. So go ahead and spam them as fast as you can, like your life depends on it. Just like ETH. Actually, don't say ETH, because we're going to look at ETH already. Maker, Hex, Ada, Sol, Sui, Hex, Algo, Hex, Solana, CRV, Spam. Oh, my God. It's really funny when, like, the chat moves really fast. I don't know why that gets me every time. But let's go ahead and take a look at ETH. We're going to start off on Ethereum, or Erythrium, as your grandmother might call it. And here we are, guys. Shout out to Jordan C. Shout out to Jordan C. I appreciate you, bro. Said some shekels for you, Mr. Candles. That's your first beer for when you go visit Tel Aviv. Let's go. Shout out to Jordan C. I appreciate you so much, man. Thank you so, dude. I appreciate you, bro. Thank you for the super chat. Thank you for the nice words. And yeah, I assume you're from Tel Aviv. Maybe we can hang out. Shout out to you, bro. I appreciate you so much. I appreciate you appreciating me, appreciating Falco, appreciating me, appreciating you, appreciating me. Shout out to everybody. CandleMafia is the best community out there. It's a fact. Let's go. But let's take a look at Ethereum here. I think I said that on my 50K subscriber giveaway stream. It's like when I meet people in real life, like at Bitcoin Miami, or even when I go on other people's shows and I talk to them for the first time and they meet me for the first time, and they say like, wow, man, like your channel, quite a community you built over there. Like, how the heck did you do that? And I said, I don't know. I didn't do it. They did it. I don't know. I got blessed. I got lucky with like the best people in the universe in my community. I don't know. I didn't do it. I don't know. But yeah, it's like literally people comment on our community, not just me or my YouTube channel. They're always like, man, the Mafia is crazy, bro. How'd you do that? And I give it all to you guys. I give you guys all the credit because, I mean, literally, you are the Candle Mafia, not me. I'm Frankie Candles. But anyway, let's go ahead. Shout out to Jonah Plainclothes. Says hashtag Givers Gain. We got to get a t-shirt going for that. Hot summer games. But anyway, reserve rights. Shout out to Lord Base. But let's take a look at Ethereum here, guys. Now, very, very similarly to, what is the other coin? The big one? Like the Bitcoin. Right. Just like Bitcoin, very similarly. I'm just going to crack the Aztecian Cactus Moss Water. Don't mind me. I will not spill this one. It's going very far away. Right next to all the hard drives. Yikes. But anyway, very similar to Bitcoin, guys. What were we looking at here? Now, there's a couple things, right? Well, number one, we came down to the value area low and deviated from the value area low. What happens when you deviate from the value area low? Let me pull up a fresh ETH chart here. What happens when you deviate from the value area low? Well, first off, we can remove all the drawings. And let me pull the same volume from Tuesday the 20th. Right? So what happened here? We got a deviation, a slight deviation below the value area low. And now this is our main range, right? You get a move, rejection from the high, straight to the POC, rejection from the high, straight to the POC, rejection from the high, straight to the POC, then to the value area low. This is how you expect the volume profiles to behave. Rejections at the highs, and you are always expecting to go to your POC and then eventually your value area low. Sometimes you go from the POC back to the high, back to the POC, back to the high, back to the POC, and then finally the value area low, back to the POC, back to the low, back to the POC, back to the low, back to the high, POC, deviation, breakdown, bearish retest, POC to the low. You go from the low, hold it as support, straight to the POC. You get above the POC, right to the value area high. Obviously, a pretty drastic deviation there. And then, and you guys get the point, right? We talk about this every day. Even up here, you come down, you find support on your value area high, and at this point, you're thinking to yourself, well, hey, if we get below this level, it's probably going to be, if we get accepted back into this range, we could expect to get sucked down towards the POC. And the reason I bring this up, guys, is because we talk about this all the time, but it just works so well. And, right, you get a bounce, What happens when you break below the value area low? Straight to the POC. Back to the high, back to the POC. Back to the high, back to the POC. You lose the POC, bearish retest. Where do you go? Right to the value area low. You hold support on the value area low. You're looking for a move to your POC. And then eventually we rejected the POC and came back down to the low. So as you deviate from the low, what do we look for? Well, right here you deviated from the low. If you could get your bullish confirmations, you're expecting to come to the POC and then the high. So same thing right here. You deviate from the low, right? If you could get your bullish confirmations, we are now attempting to hold the value area low as support. Now, we barely have any 4-hour candle closes above this. We just have one candle close above this level. I would like to see 3, 4, 5. I'd like to see a decent amount of support built here with closing multiple 4-hour candles above the value area low of the range. Now, if that is the case and we're able to do that, if we can hold that value area low, where's the next stop, guys? Creighton C. Where's he at? Is Creighton here? Dave Digital, you might have to, Dave, you might have to cover for Creighton. Is Creighton here? Am I just missing Creighton's chats? Is that possible? There we go. Paul Wood coming in quick with the POC. Let's go. I think the POC, value area low, value area high emojis are the best thing we ever did for this channel. Yo, Dixon Apple Juice. We're calling the cops on people today. Dave, call the cops on Dixon. Dixon, get out. I'm just kidding. I love you, Dixon. Dixon said, Frank, that burp was a little sus. Shout out to Dixon Apple Juice. I appreciate you. New people who might not tune every day might be like, why is he calling Dixon Apple Juice? I don't know. If you know, you know. Rob the Crypto Sound said the altcoin votes are in and being counted. Shout out to you, bro. Thank you so much. Paul Wood says Paul Wood wins 1 ETH. Shout out to Paul Wood. Shout out to Dave Digital. Bailey Armstrong in the chat, guys. That is actually Ben's brother. I'm not kidding. But anyway, shout out to Bailey. Love you, bro. Thank you for being here. Said Frank, hey, bro. Hope you had a great day. Shout out to Bailey. I hope you had a great day, bro. I hope you had a great day. Shout out to you. You just made my day, bro. But let's go. Taco Crypto says, Frankie, have you tried the Femex bots yet? Taco Crypto, maybe, just maybe, we're going to make a video on it. Maybe. Shout out to Crypto Taco. Thank you for bringing that up. But yeah, I'm going to be making a video coming up very, very shortly going over the Femex bots. And maybe we'll throw some money in one, and we'll go back and maybe make it like a little series. Like, does bot trading actually work? Will I get wrecked, or will I make money? If you guys want to see that series, go ahead and drop a 1 in chat and let me know. And while you're doing that, I'm going to go ahead and continue the TA. So, if we hold this level, guys, obviously we are expecting to get a move up, potentially back to the POC at 1887. And if we can get a move above that POC, we may be able to get a move right back up to that value area high at about 1923, which was an amazing year. But that's what I'm looking at, right? So I am not in an ETH trade, but this is very similar to why I entered the Bitcoin trade, right? Not really the only reason I entered the Bitcoin trade, but, if we pull up Bitcoin again here, you can see this is a value area low, right? This is a value area low, and we deviated from the value area low. Like, even this was a value area low as well. That's why this is a box, because we have 2 important value area lows here. That's how we knew. Like, if you were watching the show yesterday, we were looking for the bounce off this box, and that's why. It wasn't because I have some magical level, right? Like, oh, I got secret levels, guys. Like, we were looking for this bounce because this is 2 important previous value area lows, right? So that's why we drew it as a box. And, we technically, really what happened here is if you come down to a lower time frame, you deviate, right? We deviated from the range slightly, and you're expecting to get sucked back in towards that POC. Now, granted, the POC is very far away at this point, but that's kind of where we could expect to potentially begin our journey to. So very, very similar, kind of a similar a theory there, right? You get above the value area, you deviate from the value area low, you look for your bullish confirmations. If you could hold this as support, you're looking to come fill the range to the POC, and then eventually the value area high, right here at about 1923. So that's kind of what I would look for on Ethereum. And as we look here at the higher hourly time frames, we are potentially looking to put in a bullish divergence here and print it on the 8-hour time frame, which would obviously help us in this if we are going to get a move back up. This would obviously help us out. Money flow does starting to round off a tiny bit here, but it is coming out pretty aggressively. We'll have to see what happens with that money flow. 10-hour bullish divergence also looking to print here, and yeah, still looking to print this 10-hour bull div. 12-hour bull div also looking to print as well. And then moving over to the daily, we did confirm that red dot yesterday. And we'll have to see. In an hour and 17 minutes, we will print another candle here and see if that VWAP wants to skirt back to the upside. If it does, that would be a bullish sign in my opinion. But nothing out of the ordinary here, guys. Just a little deviation from the value area low. And like even here, you deviate slightly from the value area low. You get sucked back in. You hold this as support, and then you get to move up to your POC, right? So looking for something very similar there. But those are the key levels I would be looking for. But you might be thinking to yourself, what if we get a move to the downside? Well, let's go ahead and pull up the VPVR. Some might call it a VRVP, but that's the wrong way to say it. I'm just letting you know. Anyway, shout out to Lord Bass. Just goes, boo, my alt wasn't chosen. Shout out to Lord Bass, bro. You guys are funny, man. I don't know how I wound up. I feel like, oh, there's Creighton. Let's go. Shout out to Creighton C. Creighton, have you been here the whole time? I for some reason can't find your chats today. Okay, let's continue on here. But taking a look here, if we get, you might think to yourself, like, what happens if we get a move to the downside? Now, you can see we did wick down below here, and we did catch support right off of this little shelf of volume here. You can see how accurate these volume-derived levels are, guys. But you can see we did get a bounce right off that high-volume node. And there is a bit of a fall-off in volume, guys, underneath this. Now, obviously, you can see this based off of this quick move to the upside. Could potentially result in a quick move to the downside. Now, I'm not guaranteeing this is going to happen, but I will say this. You do have a bit of support right here. But other than that, you know, it's not the biggest gap I've ever seen, but it is an aggressive fall off in volume, right? So, you know, if anybody is unfamiliar, you have high volume nodes, and then you also have low volume nodes. This would be a low volume node. This would be a high volume node. So the high volume nodes would act as support, right? You would bounce off those or get rejected off of those, right? Bing bong or bing bong, right? But the gaps or the low volume nodes, let's pretend this little high volume node is not in here and it's just a big low volume node. You know, if price comes down there, you typically will fill those gaps very quickly, right? Because there's no interest in the asset at those prices, right? So you get a quick move down. And this is oftentimes exemplified in the price action, right? You can see here, you have a gap. You can notice that that was very, very quick movements in price, right? Even this current gap that we're looking at right now, you can see high volume node, big fall off in volume, and it resulted in a very fast move, right? So if we break down below this high volume node, we could potentially see price move pretty quickly to our next level, which I would say is here at about 1770. Shout out to Maybe Band-Aid said, oh, he's shouting out Bing Bong, but no love for his cousin Bong Bing. He's shameful. Shout out to Maybe Band-Aid. I don't know how. Guys, it's like, I don't know. You all have my type of humor. I don't know. It's the type of humor that makes Mrs. Candles go, roll her eyes. And I'm like, come on, is that funny? Mrs. Candles is like the annoyed mother sometimes with my humor. It's pretty funny. Let's see. Dixon says, Fraggy, don't forget to wet your whistle. That cough was screaming dehydration. And I think you're right, bro. We're going to go ahead and get some ass-taking cactus moss water in there. Let's go. I took a semester of medicine. Trust me. Shout out to Dixon. I appreciate you. Dixon, keeping us healthy on the Frankie Candles YouTube channel. I love it. Wick, I don't know if you were here. Were you here in the beginning when I literally said I had something stuck in my throat? I did for the first, 15 minutes of the stream. It was actually pretty bad. Oh, yeah. Shout out to Tony D says, everyone, stay tuned for this upcoming Sunday sauce where Frank not only breaks down Solana, but also breaks down a sick beat with a dance. Guys, I made a mistake. I shot a video today on Solana. I think you guys are going to like this one. Is Solana dead? Is Solana dead? A lot of people think Solana's dead just because it was tied to FTX. But contrary to popular belief, they actually still have a lot going on behind the scenes. So we break all that down for you guys. And I low-key bust a move, guys. I didn't, and then I did it, and I instantly regretted it. And I said, don't put that in to the editors, on the video. I did it, and I was like, cut that. Don't put that in, guys. And then Tony D said, no, put that in. And they're probably going to put it in. So if you guys want to feel secondhand embarrassment for my fire dance moves, definitely watch that video. If you hate Solana, still watch that video for the dance moves. Anyway, but that's what I'd be looking at, guys. 1770 is going to be the next major level I'd be looking at. And if we pull our volume, let's try to pull our volume on this entire kind of area of price action here. Well. Would you look at that? That level that we looked at just based off the volume here, the value area low of our macro range is just $5 underneath that level we just found at 17,065. So those are going to be the next levels. I will be looking for a bounce on Ethereum. Yeah, that's what I'll be looking for. To be, I don't want to overcomplicate it if it's not complicated. Don't overcomplicate the non-complicated things. So there you go. That's what I'll be looking at on Ethereum, or Erythrium as your grandmother might call it. Shout out to Clint Query. I appreciate that super chat. I'm not going to read the first part of it, just because, hashtag family friendly. But he did say, LMAO, smash that like. And I know you guys can all read, so check out that super chat. I'm not going to read it, but shout out to Clint Query. I do appreciate that $2 super chat. But we do have, not a lot, but we do have little bambinos that watch the show sometimes, at least once in a while. So I'm just not going to risk it. But shout out to Clint. I appreciate the super chat. And he said smash the like button. So if you're not going to smash for me, smash for Clint Query. Let's go. Lane Hughes. Yes, Lane, we will take a look at Algo. We got you, brother. Yeah, Crypto Crabman says Sol dies a lot, meaning the network. And yes, we do talk about that. It does. There's really no getting around that. Or there was a point where that was very, very common. Let's see. But there we go. Okay, you guys read the super chat. Let's go. Yeah, shout out to Clinton Query. I'm glad everybody saw it. But there you go, guys. That's what I would be looking at here on Ethereum. Now, let's go ahead and hit that list of altcoins. And shout out to Lane Hughes. Let's go. At first on the list, Algo. Here we go. Let's check it. As you guys know, Algo has been having a little bit. Oh, my God. Look at this. What are these thick red lines, guys? Sometimes I come to old charts, and I'm just like, what even is this? I don't ever. Okay, blue box, not that uncommon. I never remembered using these giant red lines. What is this? What are these X's? Oh, this is an arrow? Oh, my God. I don't know what's going on. I'm going to clear all these drawings, guys. But let's take a look here. Algo, not really looking great here, guys. Algo has basically just been getting completely destroyed. Almost no relief whatsoever. Just complete destruction. And that leads me to my final piece of the analysis, and that is Algo is going to zero. It's going to zero, guys. I'm just kidding, guys. I like Algo. But I don't. It's just getting absolutely hammered. So let's see here. Let's zoom in. Money flow on the daily is coming to the upside. This is generally coming all the way up, right? This is a decently good sign in the long term and could indicate that once you get that money flow crossover, you may finally wind up getting a move to the upside. Now, you can see that last money flow crossover did continue your uptrend quite a bit there. But, yeah, money flow coming up. Nothing really, look at this daily bull div. This daily bull div, you have your low. You have your higher low on your price action, your lower lows on your price, and it gave you that big pop, but then you just ate it all back up. Not a great look. Not a great look. You just cannot catch a break here on Algo, and I would even argue that this does look somewhat like a descending triangle, which would break down more than it would break up. But let's pull some volume here real quick. I mean, you're at your value area low. Fresh red dot on your daily. Not the best look. 2-day. VWAP creeping up towards that 0 line. Yeah, 3-day momentum is slightly curving up. Guys, algo just looks... Well, here's your short-term hope here. Here's your short-term hope. And I don't mean hopium, right? Like, hopium's fake. This is your short-term hope. Lower lows on your price action. You do have a slight bull div here on the 12-hour, with your VWAP starting to roll back up. On top of that, you're at your value area low. That could potentially give you a move up above your point of control at about 10, almost 11 cents. And if you can get back above this high volume node, I will look for a move potentially towards your value area high, but I would be very conservative with algo. So there's some levels I'd watch here, right? If this 12-hour bull div, and again, it's not like money flow is in beautiful formation here. Your money flow is making lower lows here. I would really like to see money flow trending up, and it is indeed not. So keep that in mind. But if we do get a move up over this POC, there's some levels you got to watch here, because it's not just all, home free once you get above that POC. Let's go ahead and unextend that to the right. So, yeah, I would go ahead and watch this previous value area low. I would also watch this POC, and I would also watch this value area high. I'm going to get rid of the actual range, but these are all going to be turbulent levels on your way up if you're able to flip this high-volume node. I would expect resistance here. If you get above that, I would actually expect a pretty quick move up to the next level, but I would definitely expect resistance here. And I would also expect another quick move up to this level, but I would definitely expect resistance here. And then if you get above this level, I would expect a slow grind up towards that value area high. You have some work to do. If your 12-hour does wind up giving you that move to the upside, shout out to Jessica, our female CandleMafia representative in the house. What is going on, Jessica? Thank you for being here. But yeah, that I would look at that in the local short term or medium term for algo. Let's come up to some of these higher time frames. Let me go ahead and get rid of this line real quick. Boom. Let's see. 2-day, 3-day. Let's look at the Heikinashis real quick. No. Oh, God, man. I want to. Yikes. I would look out here for a potential 5-day or weekly bull div, right? Because if you look at the 2-day, I see, Lane, you're saying, oh, the BTC pair has a 3-day bull div. Let's see. Let's see. 3-day. Yeah, there was a Yeah, look at that. When you got a 3-day bull div just doing nothing for you, that is not a good sign in my opinion. I will say, back to the USDT pair. 3-day, listen, I mean, you had the 3-day bull div here. It gave you a little bit of a move, but it was just a lower high. So what I would do, 3-week, he said. 3-week. Let's check it. Let's see. 3-week. Let's see if it's on the USDT pair. Yeah, I mean, you could. I mean, you still have some work to do here. You could potentially put in that. Yeah, I mean, that's definitely plausible. Shout out to Lane Hughes. Yeah, I mean, pretty drastic. Obviously, pretty drastic lower lows on your price action. And then you do have. I mean, it's not even. I'll be honest though. It's there for sure. It's not printing just yet. So it is very close to printing, but this is not over until that line crosses and confirms the green dot. So I wouldn't really be making any decisions based off of this until we get a green dot and it confirms. But you do have the div forming there with the lower lows and the higher lows for sure. Money flow starting to creep up there. But I would really like to see that green dot print and confirm before making any decisions based off of that. But yeah, that is definitely there. And this is on the USDT chart too as well, just the USD chart. But there you go. Other than that, I would be pretty careful. You're 6 days looking for a red dot. You're 5 days looking for a red dot. You're 4 day just confirmed a red dot. I would be somewhat careful here. I would just, yeah, I would be careful. But I would look at this locally, though. The levels that we just went over, that would kind of be what I would look for locally with that 12-hour bull div. 4-hour bull div is confirmed here. That is not a bad sign. So we get above that POC. I would look to grind our way up towards that value area high, obviously keeping a look on those resistance levels. Let's see. Oh, Lane says it's printed on the RSI. We could take a quick look at that. That's not what I wanted to do. Let's see. RSI. 3-week. Let's see. Oh yeah. Okay. So it's that must be on. I'm not gonna pull up the BTC pair again just because I don't want to spend too much more time. But it is not, unfortunately, not on the USDT chart. But I'm sure it is on the BTC chart if that's what you're seeing. But yeah, interesting. But yeah, that's what I'll be looking at for Algo. Shout out to Lane Hughes. Let's see. Hey Frank, thank you so much yesterday for the free membership. Blessings to you and have a great live stream. Shout out to Satoshi Love. Appreciate you for being here. Let's go. Thank you, bro. I appreciate you for appreciating me. And yeah, shout out for on the BTC pair. Yeah. All right, let's continue on here and take a look at ADA. Shout out to TJ's dog. TJ has a dog named Ada. She's adorable. She's a little puggle, I think. A puggle, yeah. All right, let's go ahead and continue on. Take a look at the daily. I mean, here you go. You deviate from the low, straight up to the POC. Big rejection. Getting stuck underneath this value area low as we move on here. Yeah, shout out to Thesis himself. Said, bro, do you know who the king of Coney Island is? Every time you say Bing Bong, I hear F your life. I sent a YouTube short of him, Bing Bong FYL. Yeah. Shout out to Thesis himself. Yes, I do. I do know. Yeah, they are hilarious. Yeah. Bing Bong F your life. I have seen it. Yeah. Too good. Too good. Shout out to Thesis himself. Thank you for that super chat, bro. Yeah, I hear that in the back of my head, too. Every bing, bong. And then in my head, I'm like, life. But anyway, let's continue on. Oh, yeah, 100%. They're actually they're big time now. They weren't always big. They were kind of like a niche New York thing, and now they're like a huge brand. But yeah, shout out. I think it's called, is the King of Coney, is it called Side Talk? I think is the name of their thing. Yeah, if you life, I love that guy. Shout out to Satoshi Glakamoto. But guys, let's go ahead and continue on here with it's really funny, Thesis. Now I'm gonna like double hear that every time I say it. But yeah, let's go ahead and what happened to Market Cipher? There we go. But yeah, oh baby, is this a blood diamond? Oh, how is that not a blood diamond? Just when you think, oh, there it is. Let's go. I knew it. I knew it was gonna be a blood diamond. Okay, so Cardano. Yikes. Not looking the greatest right now. Blood diamond on the daily. Why are blood diamonds on the daily bad? Well, that's why. But here's the thing, guys. Blood diamonds don't always 100% play out like that. However, like, look at, money flow deep in the red at this point. I don't know if you guys can see that. Deep money flow, blood diamond, pretty big move to the downside. We can measure it in a second. This blood diamond was printing as money flow was just starting to come out. Massive move down. And here we are again with a blood diamond as money flow is teasing back into the red. And on top of that, we lost the value area low, came back up, tested the POC a lot of times. Before you come down and make another drop to the downside, price will lose the value area, come back up, test that point of control, and then break back down below the value area low. And a lot of times when you get those bearish rejections with a confirmation of a blood diamond, it can lead to a bigger move to the downside. Now, just because this previous blood diamond broke us down about 40%, and then this other previous blood diamond wound up breaking us down 26%. Pretty drastic differences there, right? 26 versus 40% is kind of different. So there's, I do estimate, how far price can go based off of measuring previous similar situations, but you have to understand that that's not going to be 100% strategy, right? Like, you're going to be off a lot of times when you do that, but it is worth looking at, right? So if we came down, let's say, 26%, that would bring us right back down to these lows. So are we potentially going to come back down and revisit these lows? It's possible, right? And until we wind up getting a rip right back above this value area low, I would argue, and get a visit to that POC, I would argue that the bias would be to the downside here, right? Not only because of the blood diamond, but also the money flow crossover into the red on the daily. The 16-hour money flow also coming down, right? Coming up to the 8-hour view of money flow coming out on the 8-hour as well. Your 4-hour green dot is confirmed here. Money flow coming up. So locally, maybe you continue to bing bong around a little bit. But I would be careful until you wind up. Yeah, until you wind up getting back above this value area low at 32.3238 cents. I would not be looking for really any moves up on ADA, right? Like, even if the 4-hour money flow crosses over, still got to get above that value area low to get any kind of real upside for Cardano, right? And in the most bullish case, at least in the short term, or I should say medium term, would be a move up to 40 cents, right? And that would be very bullish in my opinion. But we either got to get rid of this blood diamond and we got to get back above that value area low. On top of that, our 2-day is giving us not a blood diamond, but a red X, right, on Market Cipher A. And I don't talk about this a lot, but these red X's are basically short indications, right? So they're not necessarily an indication of, like, manipulation to the downside. Shout out to the yellow X's and Thesis himself, who doesn't believe in them. They're not real. They're fictitious. But as we are seeing this red X pop up, it's not necessarily a sign of manipulation or, like, a mega bearish sign, but it is an indication. I believe it is a short indication. Now, obviously, we'd have to double-check with CryptoFace, but it's basically a short signal, right? You can see our last red X wound up popping up here before we got a pretty big move to the downside. We also had another one right here. We also had another one right here and right here. Typically, these do pop up before some kind of a move to the downside. They're not necessarily always massive moves, but definitely more of a bearish sign than a bullish sign. And they are pretty reliable on high time frames like the 2-day. I don't really pay much attention to these on the lower time frames. But on the high time frames, I mean, red X, big move down, right? Typically, it is an indication that we are going to get some kind of a move to the downside, right? So not a blood diamond on the 2-day, but we do have the short signal as we lose the value area. And the fact that we tested this POC and have, again, gotten kicked out of this value area could get another move down. If we do, I would be looking at the local fib levels, which would be here. So I'll go ahead and mark this out. Boom. Golden pocket, 786. This is definitely levels that I would be keeping an eye on. And yeah, if we wind up coming back down here, I would look for a test of that 786. If that blood diamond's going to give us a big move, we could potentially do something like that before finally coming back up. So there is Cardano and what I would be looking at. But yeah, I would be very careful. Pretty bearish looking. All right, let's go ahead and continue on here. Let's see. What percentage do you believe the market will take a big dip towards the end of the year? Very hard to say. But what I would just look for history to rhyme for the most part, right? So for Bitcoin, if we do get some kind of a big move down, I mean, let's just look at the macro golden pocket here from the low to the high. Whoops, that just got messed up from the screen moving. There you go. I mean, if we wound up coming all the way back down, right? Let's say we broke that 25K level where we flip a little more bearish in the long term, get a drop towards that golden pocket, a potential panic wick down towards that 786 before putting in somewhat of a double bottom here, right? Similar to the... Let me pull up. Yeah, similar to our kind of double bottom. It's a little bit of a higher low here in 2017, or this is actually 2019, 2020, but the 2017, 2016 cycle, that was the beginning of the cycle. But, you know, if you pull from the low to the high of that bear market rally, obviously this was exaggerated because of the Black Swan event. It did push you down pretty low. It didn't break the low, but basically came down for a double bottom. But essentially, if you look at the candle closes here on the 5-day, you did close above that 786, right? So essentially, this was a push to the upside, and then not only a golden pocket retracement, but a wick down to that 786 before launching off into the bull market. So if you saw something like that happen, now just because it happened in the past does not mean it's going to happen. But if you saw something similar to that, that could bring you down back to like 19K almost, right? And if that were to happen, and again, I'm not really calling for this, but that would be a 35% drop. Again, not really calling for it, but I'm just saying if you did see something similar, that could be some kind of percentage that you could be working with. Let's see. Okay. Let's. Wick says, Polygon, enjoy the peace and quiet. Lol, for real, you got us. Shout out to Wick589. All right, let's go ahead and take a look at CRV. Taking a look here. Okay, so obviously, Curve did have an exploit, guys, causing this massive move to the downside. Pretty strong snapback to the upside, I will say that. No bull div here on your 10-hour. Let's take a look at the daily. No bull div on your daily either. Yeah. Oh, God, just barely invalidated. But let's see. I would look for this on Curve. I mean, I'll be honest. You held support. You did hold support here. Not too bad here. You did hold support. What I would really be looking for here on Curve, I'm going to do this one quick and dirty. Pull the range here. Let me actually, let's pull it like this. These are the levels I would take. Let's go to this candle. So, value area high at $1.02.5. $1.03, we'll call it, right? I'll put a level there. That's your value area high. Let me go ahead and label it. And then our POC is coming in at 64.5 cents. Take that, POC. And our value area low is coming in at about, am I saying 6.5? $1.03, POC at 64 cents. Did I say 64.5? I don't even know. And then our value area low coming in at 51 cents. These are the levels I would look at. Bitcoin getting a big move to the upside. Breaking. Bitcoin breaking out, guys. We're getting the move up here. Here we go. Long back up, 8%. Not looking too bad here. Nice little nice little ripski to the upside. Not too bad. Quick little gain on the live. Shout out to Femex. There we go. Bitcoin just ripped out of nowhere, guys. I'm going to keep doing this TA so we can get through the altcoins, but we will go back to Bitcoin in a second. But what I would look for here, guys, what happened here? Look at the volume profile getting respected from the low. Whoops. Come on. Whoa, what just happened? From the low to the high. Deviation from the high. Bounce, bounce. Breakdown. Bearish retest. POC value area low. Deviation from the low. Acceptance back into the range. Straight to the POC. Back to the low. Back to the high. Bearish retest, bearish retest, acceptance into the range, straight to the POC, straight to the value area low. This is simple. Volume profile law, right? Strategy. You could have potentially been expecting a move down to your value area low, regardless of well, let me see something. Let's go into bar replay mode real quick. Let me see something here, because the value areas move, right? So you got to be sure that, you know, where was this value area low? Yeah, okay. So not necessarily what I was just talking about, just because the value area moves. So your value area low is right here. The exploit happens. Let me go ahead and make sure this is extended to the right. Tell me this isn't going to update. Come on, value area. What the? Come on. That's really annoying. I'll have to manually slide this forward. Oh, my God. Are you kidding me with this? Okay, it doesn't want to work. Come on. All right. Well, anyway, Now that we know this is the volume profile, we are now sitting at the value area low. This value area low was not here when price was up here. Just understand that the value area levels move. So what are we looking at now? You're at your value area low. You've put in a lower low in on your price. Boom, boom, right? You have your higher lows on your momentum waves. The one thing I would be careful of here, now the 2-day money flow will take time to curve back around. But if you get money flow to curve back around here on the 2-day, I would look for this 2-day bull div to print, right? If this prints, that could kind of be the bottom there for your exploit dump, right? So with that being said, if you do print that 2-day bull div, again, it's not necessarily on the daily, but you know that green dot is looking to print on the daily. We'll find out if it's going to print in 48 minutes and 4 seconds. Right, but if that 2-day bull div prints, I would expect to move up over that POC, and it definitely would have the possibility of bringing you back up to your value area high at about $1.03. And then you'd simply just be back at your value area high looking for resistance, right? So that's basically what I would look here on curve, looking to put in a nice, like you're at the value area low. You're putting in a bullish divergence into a key level of support. This is typically where you see these bounces, especially if you can get the confirmation of the bull div. All right, let's continue on. BTC ripping, lol, hardly. Yeah, I mean, this is the 5-minute chart. But, I mean, made a couple $100. Couple extra $100 up. Let's go. Let's see. Oh, Wick was referencing Polygon Rocker, not Polygon the project. I was like, he's talking to Polygon. He's talking about Polygon like it's a person. Let's see. Jewel said Casper almost at all-time high. We can go ahead and take a look at that. And I want to point this out, guys. A lot of people, when you're hey, I am a person. Shout out to Polygon Rocker. Shout out to you, bro. Yes, Polygon Rocker is a person. Everyone always says, what's Polygon's price? No one ever asks how Polygon's doing, right? But let's see. I do want to point this out, right? A lot of people, when I made my Caspa video, a lot of people were saying, like, how could you say that you're bullish on this project when it's so close to its all-time high? It's a bear market all-time high. It's not a bull market all-time high. Like, if XRP was nearing its previous all-time high from 2017, right, its actual all-time high, it would be hard to tell people to buy that asset, right? I don't even tell people what asset to buy. I just talk about if I'm bullish on it or not, right? Or price predictions or whatever. But the reason why I would not be, buying XRP if it was at its previous all-time high is because XRP's actual all-time high is a bull market all-time high. Caspa doesn't have a bull market all-time high. So it could make another all-time high way higher than its previous all-time high, and it could still potentially be bullish. Because if it's already making these all-time highs, imagine what it could do in the bull market, right? So, but let me go ahead and take a look at Caspa real quick, because if it is making an all-time high, that's kind of exciting. But yeah, let's see. I'm gonna have to pull up Mexi. There it is. Yeah, it is approaching its all-time high. This is nuts. But yeah, I'm not gonna do full analysis on Caspa, but yes, it is approaching its all-time high for sure. I mean, you don't got to crack much higher. A couple more cents, and you're in price discovery, which is pretty interesting. So, yeah, green dot. Were we looking at this yesterday? Green dot on your daily. I would look. I mean, were we looking at a potential daily bear div? Were we looking at this yesterday? We may have looked at this yesterday, looking for a push up on that green dot on the daily to put in a higher high to potentially print a bear div here on our momentum waves, which would warrant a correction to the downside for sure. But yeah, approaching all-time highs, super exciting for Caspa. Let's go. But yeah, I'm not going to do full analysis on that. But yeah, I wouldn't expect this thing. I would be very careful, right? Because if you crack that this previous high, that could potentially put you in price discovery, which could get a little bit nutty. But again, yeah, if I was looking for this thing to cool off, right, not necessarily short it. When altcoins move up like this, it's very, very difficult to get the top of these things, right? Because a lot of times, like, they'll do something very wonky where even if you did have a daily bear div here with a higher high on your price action with a lower high on your momentum waves, right? And you had all your confirmations, a lot of times it'll just yeet up, right? And just like wick to some crazy price and then come right back down and do exactly what you thought it was going to do. So be careful. The altcoins can be very, very volatile, obviously, guys. But what I would look for a potential cool-off is I would wait for a potential bear div to print here, put in a higher high on the daily, and a lower low or lower high on your momentum waves. Let's see. I'm gun shy to long or short. That ETH yeet almost wrecked me on my 40x long I had. Shout out to Crypto Naughty. Shout out to you, man. Let's see. Okay, let's continue on. Let's see. Polygon Rocker said, "Thank you, Rob, the crypto snob, and all I wish you all the best. And Frankie Candles is a man to follow and look up to. Known him since BitBoy. Don't get wrecked." Shout out to Polygon Rocker. Appreciate you, bro. But let's go ahead and take a look at that was Curve that we just looked at. Let's take a look at Solana. Shout out to Solana, guys. Saucy Sunday sauce video for on Solana. Like I said, going to be talking about, is Solana dead or is it all a myth? But let's take a look at what we got going on here. I'm actually going to go ahead and start a let's just get rid of some of this stuff. Just get rid of this, 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 get out of here, get away from me, turn off the fib, get the fib out of here. Get your fib out of my face. Come on. Get that fib out of my face. Let's go. Oh, God. Sometimes I say things, guys, and then I hear chat murmuring, and I'm like, why did I say that? But taking a look here at Solana, guys, very, very similar to a lot of the other stuff we looked at. Came out of our value area, deviation, bounce, acceptance back into our range, value area high, rejection, confirmation of the blood diamond. If we lose this POC, I would look for a bigger breakdown on Solana. Let's see. Money flow on the 16-hour crossing over into the red. Let me go ahead and clear these drawings. Money flow crossing over into the red on the 16-hour. Daily money flow coming out. Daily blood diamond confirmed. Taking a look at the 2-day. Money flow coming back out on the 2-day, but generally coming to the upside. Take a look at the 3-day. Money flow coming out on the 3-day. VWAP coming down as well. 12-hour money flow crossover into the red. Not confirmed. It is starting, though. Take a look at the 8-hour. Ooh, no bull div. No bull div. However, no bull div. You can see you have a higher high on your price, or a higher low on your price, not a lower low. But momentum is coming up. Green dot looking to print. I do think you could get some kind of a little local bounce here. However, yeah, green dot printed on your 6-hour, 4-hour, money flow coming up, VWAP flying up. Yeah, I would just look for continued consolidation here, to be honest, guys. Maybe a little move up locally. The higher time frames are more bearish, in my opinion. Daily money flow coming out. 16-hour money flow coming out. 12-hour money flow coming out. 10-hour money flow coming out. But locally, the green dots are printing. Lower time frames are looking, somewhat neutral, if I'm being honest. 30-minute money flow is coming to the upside. I would look for another move up on Solana on this 8-hour green dot. If you do get it, though, again, I'm not expecting it to be very insane, right? Let's pull the volume. Yeah. Let's pull this up to here. Yeah, if you get a move up on this 8-hour green dot, what I would look for is a flip of the value area low. I'd be very careful for a rejection off that POC. If you get above the POC, I'd look for a move up to the value area high. A little boom, 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 right? And my mouse, I'm going to smash the mouse live, guys. I swear I'm going to do it. But this is what I would look for on Solana. But again, in the long term, money flow coming out on those higher time frames is not looking very good. No bull divs or anything like that. So any bounce to the upside, I would look to fade those to the downside with shorts. But pull from that high to that low. You could see from this fib, from this high to this low, we came up, tested that golden pocket a bunch of times, and then rejected it. So if we come back up, guys, I would look I would look for a rejection up in this purple box, if I'm being honest. I would look for a rejection at this purple box. If we get above that, I would look up to the second purple box between the POC and the 786, and you could even probably just combine these as a big purple box, right? So if we come back up here, this is where I'm looking for the rejection. Come up here, maybe we get some bearish CVD, something like that, and then that's where you get the drop to the downside. But that's what I'd look for on Solana locally. The money flow on these higher hourly time frames is not that good looking. Locally, short term, maybe we get a pump into these levels, but I would look for a potential rejection after that based off of money flow on the higher time frames. Very, very similarly to the things that we're looking at on Bitcoin, right? Just general sentiment remains the same. But let's see. Shout out to Rod the Crypto Sot said, I'm waiting for the day he changes his name from Elon Musk to Elon X. I feel like that's probably going to be tomorrow, Rob. I'll be honest with you. But let's see. Elon the Fraud Musk said, yo, Frankie, can you send some love to Luciano? Is Luciano your kid? I think I remember this. I don't know. I hope it's your kid. I hope I'm not like worshiping some devil or something. Shout out to Luciano. Shout out to Luciano. Yeah, let me know. Who is Luciano? I think is it your child? I think it is. But yeah, shout out to Luciano. Your boy Frankie Candles is here for you, I can't call him Luco. Hey, Lucy. Little BTC pump. That's right. Let's go. But yeah, shout out to Luciano. I'm not 100% sure who you are, but shout out to Luciano. We're showing love. Let's go. Bing bong. But guys, let's move on to our last altcoin. How long have we been going for here? Let's see. All right, we're running up to it. All right, let's take a look at Matic. That's my new rap name, little BTC pump. Little bitty pump. Let's go. Now, as you guys can see, the last time that we did TA on Matic, we did some of the most advanced TA you've ever seen, which is sideways looping G-fish right here. This is a very bullish signal. That's how we knew we were going to get this pump to the upside. And that was followed by a helicopter hat formation with a left curve, which is a very bearish pattern, which is why we reversed right here. These are very, very advanced patterns. You got to learn how to really see these and draw them. Has to do with angles and Fibonacci sequences and stuff. It's very advanced, but we'll keep it to the simple stuff here. We'll get rid of this. This took me hours to make, but I'll just get rid of it. Yeah, shout out to Point Dexter. Very technical. I'm just kidding, guys. That was just a joke. Yeah, Matt VTV said, Frankie, the pro pattern trader confirmed. Yeah, I'm just fronting, guys. I draw my own patterns. Screw the pennants. Screw the head and shoulders. We just draw them ourselves. Let's go ahead and continue on. Shout out to Hazara. What is going on? Thank you for being here. Let's go ahead and take a look. All right, take a look at the daily. No bullish divergence. Some more advanced patterns here. I'm not even going to get into this one. This is not Casper. This looks like a Casper the Friendly Ghost formation, guys. But Casper actually has a curled tail. And he actually has fingertips as well. And an eyeball. Anyway, let me get out of this, guys. This is how you know it's the end of the stream. Bing, bong, bing, bong, bing. Okay, take a look here. Let's pull our volume. I'm going to pull it from here to here. And here we are. Okay. Looking for a green dot on the daily. I would look for a potential bounce here at the value area low. Let's see where our golden pocket is. Ooh, almost got that golden pocket test. If you pull it, I don't like these scam wicks. You are bouncing off this golden pocket. Technically, this would be the real golden pocket. But this is your key level of support. If you get another move down, I would look for a bounce off this blue box. There we go. Let me grab my brush. So, yeah. I would look for a bounce. I mean, we might have just front ran that level a little bit. But if we come back down, I would look for a bounce off the golden pocket here or the 786. But right now we're holding, as long as we hold support on this value area low, guys, I would expect a bounce back up to the POC. So as long as we hold this level, that's your key level right here at 63, almost 63.5 cents. You don't want to lose that level, right? And if you do, you want to bounce off that 786. If you lose the 786, that's where you're likely going to get lower prices, which we'll find those levels, when the time comes. But you don't have to worry about it until you lose this value area low. So as long as we're above this, I will look for a move to the value POC / value area high eventually. But please remember, price action. Come on. What's going on? TradingView, you got it. Come on, TradingView. You got it. There you go. Value area high, POC at 88 cents. Almost 89, about 89 cents actually. Value area low at about 63 cents. And these are the levels I would look at, guys. Until we lose these lows, I would not really be freaking out over Matic. There you go. I really don't want to make it more complicated than it is. So there you go. Let's take a look at the indicators, though. Daily looking for the green dot. That is likely going to give you a continued move up. Not instantly, right? Yeah, 12-hour money flow, 16-hour money flow, daily money flow, 2-day money flow coming out, 3-day money flow in the red. These higher time frames are, in my opinion, showing more that any move to the upside will likely be faded back to the downside. Or, right? Like, from the high to the low, rejection off that local golden pocket. Update our fib from the high to the local low. This is assuming that we're actually getting a bounce here. Yeah, it's hard to say, right? Because I don't know if this is the actual bottom of this move. So, yeah, I don't know. I don't know if this is the bottom of the move. If it is, I would definitely be looking for a rejection at this area. 786 golden pocket, turn it purple. Between about 84 and 80 cents. Between 80 and 84 cents is kind of where I would expect a rejection if we are going to continue the trend to the downside. That's what I would look for. Maybe a bounce up here, and then a rejection back down. And then, I would just be looking at the volume profile, guys. I would be treating this as a range. But, yeah, money flow coming out on the higher hourly time frames does make me want to lean more bearish on most of these things, at least in the medium term. Take a look at the 15-minute div on BTC. Take profit. Let's see. Taking a look at the Bitcoins now coming in at $29,422. Nice little bounce, baby. Let's go. Let's go. Let's pull up the here we go. Here we go. I'll say this, guys. I am really the level that I am looking at. Yeah, the level that I'm looking at to look for potentially a fresh short or a really strong rejection does lie up here at your golden pocket / value area low confluence, right? Actually, let's do this. Let me pull up the Bybit chart, and let me unhide all this stuff. Boom, right? So it's essentially the same levels on this chart. Pull from the high to the low, right? So you got your golden pocket and both your value area lows in this area, right? I'll pull this little local value area low, unextend it to the right. Come on. Right, so you have, let me adjust this. This is too low. Value area low, golden pocket, as well as your more macro gold value area low, right? Like many levels in this purple box here, guys, and it does move a little. So you have your value area low of this range. You have the value area low of this range. And the golden pocket, all within, and the POC of your range of your local range here is also within that purple box. So this is a place where I'm looking for a rejection, right? That would be where I'm looking for the rejection. However, we are now getting accepted, or we are now at the high, the value area high of our third or our second very local range, right? These are, God, man. I hope I'm on the BitBoy Crypto Show tomorrow so we could talk about both levels getting hit exactly as we were looking for. Not to brag about me, but to just show people that these volume profiles are literally a cheat code to trading. But here we are at the value area high of this local range. So local resistance is likely to come in here, right? Because rejection, back to the low. Rejection, bing, bong, bing, bong, bing, bong, bing, bong, back to the low. back to the high, rejection, back to the low, deviation, back to the high, potentially back to the low. What I'm hoping for is maybe a cool off and then a move above this range into our actual resistance level that I'm watching. However, when you look at this locally on something like the 15-minute, shout out to whoever called this out. I forget who it was. But, yeah, Chemistry Bro said volume profile equals infinite money glitch. Low key. I never want people to think trading is that easy, but when you actually understand trading and how to trade and you're already trading, volume profile does sound like that. But taking a look here. Potential. Bearish divergence into your key level of resistance, which is the value area high, with lower highs on your momentum waves. VWAP rolling over. 4 hour. Not looking to roll over. But if this was rolling over, I'd feel pretty comfortable with that short. However, it is not that it's not going to play out, but, you know, I would like to see that confluence just a little bit. But we are starting to break out a little bit here. But in a typical scenario, I'm not saying to take this trade. Sometimes I'm a little, like, I don't know, conniving. I don't even think that's the right word. Sometimes I'm like, definitely not a setup, guys. And it never is, right? It's never financial advice. You should never just copy trade. But sometimes I'm like, hey, guys, low-key, this is what I'd be looking at. This is not one of those times. But typically when you trade a volume profile like this locally, you would look for a bearish divergence like this into the key level of resistance, which is your value area high of the range. You do have the bear div here. We do have money flow coming out as well. But if I had this combined with a red dot incoming on the 4 hour, that a lot of the times is a big thing that I look at to go short on these little scalp ranges like this. But not seeing all the confirmations that I would like to see here, so I probably won't be taking that trade, most likely. I don't want to guarantee anything in case I get off here and see something else. But likely not going to take that trade. Maybe I'd play around with it locally just for like a little scalp. But going to be taking profits here and then hopefully getting a push up into our second purple box here. Or our next purple box up here for a real rejection, right? Because our 4 hour money flow is just now crossing over into the green, which could wind up either being a fake out and then coming right back into the red, and then that was the rejection we were looking for, or you're going to come deeper into the green here, test some of these more key levels for the actual big rejection to come in. But we'll have to let time play out for that one. Let's see. But yeah, guys, I think... Wick said, tell Ben you ran out of gas in the Lambo again. Let's go. Wait, hang on. Frankie, call Ben after the stream. Nick says you're on the charts all week this morning. Yo. Yo, what is going on? Shout out to Eric. Shout out to Eric. Thank you for letting me know this. Nick said you're on charts all week this morning. Since Kelly has friends in Vermont. Shout out to Eric. Yes, that was, it's like so funny that like, it's like the internet is so, like being a content creator is so weird because it's like Eric knows what I'm going to be doing before I know what I'm going to be doing, which is hilarious in itself. But yes, that is the plan, but I think Kelly may be back in the office tomorrow. So obviously guys, I used to go on Ben's show every day. But now I kind of split the time. Kelly does Monday, Tuesday. I do Wednesday, Thursday, and then they do a guest on Friday because so yeah, now we split it. He does 2 days, I do 2 days, and then the 5th day is covered by a guest. But Kelly was out of the office. He has friends visiting, I think, and so I was supposed to cover him all week, but I think he's back in the office tomorrow, and that is it might mean that if he is back in the office tomorrow, I think he might go on the show, but I might want to go on the show just to show this. So I might fill in tomorrow. But we'll have to see. Oh wait, CryptoPace is coming on Thursday? The guests are supposed to go. Oh, well, anyway, they're probably trying to work out that schedule. But shout out to Eric. But yeah, that is the plan. So maybe I will be on there. I'm not 100% sure. Darren says, Frankie, the word is smug. Shout out to Darren Does Things. But guys, that is all the time we got for tonight's live stream. So let's go ahead and pick up that wheel. Pick up the wheel. Let's go ahead and pull up that wheel of pain and pleasure. And guys, it is not too late to smash that like button. If you hit that like button, what are we at right now? Let's see. 405 likes. Oh, boy. All right, we got 4 spins on the wheel here. 4 spins on the wheel, and we're going to get spammed with the ads. Here we go. Here come the breast pumps and everything. Winner number 1. Let's see. Yeah, smash out that like button, guys. If we get 500 likes before we finish, yeah, if we hit 500 likes before we get that, before we finish spinning the wheel, I will spin the wheel an extra 5 times. Let's go. Let's see. Shout out to Wig589. Said, add something interesting to the wheel. Add something interesting to the wheel. Shout out to Wig589. Wig589 is free money, not interesting. Let me know. Are you not edutained? Shout out to Wig589. It's so funny. I still call him Wig589, even though we all know if I say Wick who I'm talking about. But we just like saying Wig589. I like it. Oh, yeah. Wait, Wick, did you change your profile picture slightly? Let me know. It looks like you added like a filter to it or something. Let me know. Or am I just tripping? Let's see. 440 likes. I just got something in my eye. Spin number 6, because you guys know I can't spin it the right amount of times. We got to give you extra spins. Let's see. I need more. Yo, shout out to Wick. I need more scorpion suckers and cheese crickets. Yeah, they were jalapeno cheddar crickets. They really were. Yo, somebody said put a baby on the wheel. Oh, my God. But there we go, guys. We got 5 giveaways. Shout out to Wick. I changed it to another pet possum I have, a bit less menacing. Shout out to Wick. Doesn't have stank fingers. That's all that matters. Doesn't have little possum stank fingers. Anyway, guys, shout out to Wick. But with all that being said, that's all the time we got for tonight's live stream. I appreciate all you guys for tuning in. Shout out to my haircut. I should probably like do something with my hair here. But there you go. There we go. Nice little fade ski. But maybe I'll throw some gel in it tomorrow, guys. Maybe I'll do myself up for the stream tomorrow. I don't know. But with all that being said, guys, that's all the time we got for tonight's live stream. I appreciate every single one of you guys for tuning in and doing 2 hours of pure TA with your boy Frankie Candles and the rest of the Candle Mafia. You guys are the absolute best. You are this YouTube channel. I'm just the guy on camera that screams. And with all that being said, I'll see you guys tomorrow. Same place, same time, 5:45 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Shout out right after ATB. Shout out to Mrs. Kit. That's all I got, guys. Frankie Candles out. Bing bong. Hold up. Were you guys not hearing that music that whole time? That is so awkward. That is so awkward. I'm literally behind the desk, guys, just like jamming out to this music. And I don't think you guys could hear it. That is super awkward. I'm going to go ahead and roll that song one more time for the weirdest Frankie fake out, quiet waiting room. Let me know if you guys heard that music. If you didn't, I'm so sorry you guys sat in awkward silence like that. But I'm going to roll it here. With all that being said, that's all the time we got for tonight's live stream. I'll see you guys same place, same time, 5:45 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, right after ATB. That's all I got. Frankie Candles out. Shout out to my boy DZ. Bing bang.